well, it was probably looked at as her doing her at the time because it wasn't nothing else known to us. We were kids and all that. So, and it was kind of occurring. So it was something that wasn't kind of throwed off to us, me and my brother, but to my grandma and them, like, it was throwed off. Like, no. So the day that we end up on the porch that you keep, yeah, the day that that happened, okay, that had been the day, probably the day that she just said, enough is enough, because we had probably ended up, was over there, I don't know, a couple of times prior to that. But still, it's you know, it's other kids in there. You know what I'm saying? So maybe I know Cynthia Sharita, my cousin Cynthia Sharita, because she had them. Um, I ain't sure if Dolo was in there or not. I'm inclined to think not, because he probably would have opened the door. One of the doors, because the house was a whole house, you know what I'm saying? And really, we only used part of the house, the upstairs part. The downstairs part really was just like, shit, storage kind of. But nobody down there, everybody was upstairs.
So when you got on the porch, no one opened the door. What mode did you go into? You and your little brother on this porch. Is it cold outside?
I don't remember it being cold. I just remember him being bundled up under me. He just went in, I'm tired mode, and I just went in like, I can't go to sleep mode. Both of us can't be sleep mode. I would have to say 9 or 10. It had to be because I wanted. It had. Damn near. I almost said 8. Right. I swear. My first thought was 8.
Yeah.
So
He said he was 7.
right. So that would make my first thought right. You know what I'm saying? Because that was my first thinking. Because 80. Because I'm thinking 84, 10. Yeah. We was all the way somewhere else on 26 and State. Damn. Yeah. So he about right. It was about 8. If he was 7, I was 8.
And at 8 years old, what instincts kicked in when you know for sure you got your back? And y'all on this porch.
I just know that both of us couldn't go to sleep, and he wasn't trying to hear. He wasn't going to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Because he was on his way to sleep. And my thing was, I don't know what all supposed to have been the lesson behind the door not being open and all that stuff, but I'm sure the lesson really wasn't directed at us. It probably was a lesson from a mom directed to a child. You know what I'm saying? Meaning my grandma directing it to her daughter.
You collaborate.
And right, exactly. I was just thinking that. So it just was probably my first moment of I don't know, like shit, somebody bigger than me for sure. But it's something I kind of probably already had embraced, like, cause I don't know, all we always had was each other. So that shit came
How long
natural.
you know for him?
I just let him go to sleep, and he knew that he was gonna be all right.
Did you feel responsible for him?
I most definitely was responsible for him. It wasn't I felt
Yeah.
responsible for him. I was responsible for him.
No, but like that feeling, we just getting, as we described for the audience, describing that feeling of like, not it's not every man for himself. I got a little brother and I gotta stay here and I gotta protect him. I gotta make sure sure we good.
I
That's a heavy
most
feeling.
definitely felt responsible for him. Not just at that moment. I've been responsible for him. I can't even really remember a walks to where I wasn't responsible for him. You know what I'm saying?
But now
But
it's like, dang, we shut out. We is on this porch. My family's in there. They not opening this door. You two little kids. How do you? What do you do the next day? What was your next day like? Now, what happened? How did you eventually get back in the house?
the door opened. Somebody opened the door. I don't remember who. Um, but the door opened. And shit, we proceeded in there as if it opened when we first came. You know what I'm saying? We ain't care. We was just happy to get in there. You know what I'm saying?
Did you look at anybody different?
Probably not right at that moment. You know what I'm saying? It took more than that. It took more than that. But you know, time change, people change. So eventually,
What happened when you seen your mom the next time? How did you feel?
one of the same type of things. You know, time change, people change. Um, but it's a warm embrace because she is who she is, and she been gone. And of course, every time she returned, we glad that she returned. So at that time, all the other stuff that may have been going on, it wasn't no it go away at that time, at that moment, cause she there and all is fine, and she definitely not broke. You know what I'm saying? She definitely not broke. So you know,
Did
yeah.
resentment feel toward as a young boy? Did you ever feel
Then
feelings of resentment?
I did before I did have resentment because you know, of course, we all have them why us? You know what I'm saying? Why the hell must I go through this? Why, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it had been resentment. Um Today as I stand it's not though,
Yeah.
but that's just because I know better, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Mo to stand as that 8-year-old boy who has been left on the porch. Do you take on this I gotta stay ready mentality as a young boy? What does that feel like? I gotta stay
I'm
ready.
not
I
even
gotta stay
sure
ready.
that that's the exact moment that mode and trait and all the things that it is kicked in, but that was just like I don't know my automatic response. You know what I'm saying? That was just nature. Like stuff is automatic with you. You know what I'm saying? When it come to him and them, it was like that. But that's not technically when that staying ready so I won't have to get ready mode kicked in. It was some other stuff that brought that about, but I still was a kid. You know what I'm saying? I still was a
Stay
kid.
ready to there any day we could be abandoned, any moment. To not have the comfort of knowing who's gonna be there when they should be there. What's it gonna be like when you come home after school? Is my mom gonna be at the door? Are they gonna open up the door? You living with this invisible um, readiness, but it's norm because it keeps happening and you condition to it now. And going back, if you think about that, an 8-year-old, what did that 8-year-old look like in school, having to go through this in his personal life? How did he show up in the classroom?
Angry, seeking attention by all means, um, not totally comfortable because you not personally um, fit to where you know, you not wearing what everybody else wearing, you know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. Um, so, you know, yeah, it took.
Did you fight a lot? Get into a lot of
I did, but most of my fights was about helping other people. My fights was about me or people messing with me. My fights was about probably um, he thought he was tough, and I seen him doing something to somebody else. So, now I want to see. We go see. You know what I'm saying? So,
And
yeah,
then
but
you got some stuff built up in you that had to
right,
come out somehow, some way, and boom. I see
right,
it
and
all
that
the way
definitely
from the
became an outlet. So yeah, if that's what you mean, it became an outlet.
Your brother said that when he recalls his mother, I just remember that look on his face. And I can't remember, we were talking about family. And at that moment, I realized he is living with a bunch of resentment, but feels so dedicated to his family. But that moment really, really hurt him. And in that moment, he was so thankful for you. He's like, I remember falling up under my brother, and I know he stayed up all night because I'm going to sleep, and he watched over me the all night. This is where we got, me and my brother.
Hmm.
And hearing that, what does that do for you?
I don't know. It's I always knew though. Like I knew our bond, and but it was like when I last seen him, and then some of the stuff that I done found out since he been gone, like that made me really know. You know what I'm saying? Because I done found out some stuff. Whether it's been on recordings he left, or like a lot of people share a lot of stuff with me about him, and I know where it came from, but they necessarily don't, and I ain't the one to tell them. You know what I'm saying? But it be some dynamic shit going on. Straight up.
So, take me to this place, and I'm only taking it because, this is basically the protest of why the mental health in our community don't look like everybody else's mental health look like. And to draw this picture of you still standing strong, surviving all that you survived, but still talking like that's just what it was. We all know that should have never happened. In this space, you're coming back to this space and you remember, can you visualize you and your brother on that porch and what comes up for you?
Like that. Like that. And of course I know it's cold. Of course I know can't nobody say nothing that really can make it right, you know what I'm saying? But it just caused me to see things clear as a younger kid, which I'm thankful for now. I wouldn't know what was going on at the time, but I never even been one to hold much resentment and waste time and stuff like that. Even before I knew better, something in me just wouldn't allow that to be. And now it's even more so because I kind of just know that people do what they knew, regardless of if it was wrong or right. That was that person doing what they knew. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that too, because at one point in time, that's all I could do is what I knew. And now, that's all any of us can do is what we know, you know? Like, we all find ourselves in the positions based off of what we know, what we've been through. And I understand that. And it's so crazy how I guess remotely, somewhat, something in me always understood that. So, but I couldn't see nobody kids sitting on there. You know what I'm saying? And all of that might be what done molded me to be like I am when it comes to stuff like that.
That's
Now,
it.
and that's funny because that realization just came to me just now. That's something that I ain't never even really thought
That you
about.
know what?
Right.
This is part of you deserve to heal from that. So what you did was you took that in and it went somewhere. But that created what we call the storm in to be able to accomplish what you've accomplished out here and still be standing. So what you didn't make room to feel in, you used toward action steps. So you never sat in feelings. You were not made up like that. Because that was a trauma that hit you so young that it kidnaps emotion. That can only, that happens every day to people that come from where we come. Because this is going to be an everyday thing. But what happened was that this, you couldn't feel not even for yourself. You just had to survive. And in doing that, you cause harm to yourself by the lifestyle. That was all that trauma. There was no even thought of, I deserve to be free. I don't deserve to be living that kind of life. I don't deserve to be in this, but this is all I know and I can't see no other way. That's what trauma does to a young black boy who now has to grow up and survive.
Oh, I agree with that because that was definitely my mind state. I like in coming up in the ranks to where I ain't the only one, but our blocks and our sets and all that stuff, that's all right. I was cool with living for that, and I was cool with dying for that. I was cool with that. You know what I'm saying? It was foreign. It was foreign to us to go downtown, even though we right there based on 34th and Vine.
And why is that? Why was it? Why did it not feel comfortable? Because I talk about this all the time. What's that feeling of going down?
Cause at first it was it was like shit. We wasn't somewhere to where we really had no money to be. First of all, so if we was down there, we had to be hustling. You know what I'm saying? We had to be trying to get something to eat, make something happen. Um, and then, of course, it was just foreign territory because, as you know, Wisconsin is one of the most segregated places there is. So, you know, it was strange.
Very strange. So, like I
But it
said,
was jumping back then. I'm talking about sailors coming here. I'm talking about the clubs. I'm talking about the nightlife. I'm talking about the cars. You can see it all. The zoot suits and
yeah.
all.
So we stood out, right? Some people, we felt was so uncomfortable going in white spaces, but more comfortable staying in our own war zone.
Yeah,
In downtown, we just did not feel welcome.
yeah.
We felt
You done stepped out the
you
box.
stepped out,
You done stepped out the box.
living right down the street.
Right.
That's the like the real pushing it. You step across that line. But I feel different. Okay. Anything as we try to put the cap on this trauma, what could you say goodbye to? That 8-year-old boy protecting his 7-year-old brother and family shut the door. What can you say goodbye to in that trauma?
Um, I don't know. I know one thing probably that I never embraced from a thing like that. I never embrace hate. You know what I'm saying? So, cause my thing is like, if I could take that, move from that, still love them because still it ain't nothing that they couldn't beck and call about. You know what I'm saying? So, I think I just learned not to hate and to see things for what they are or people for what they are. I know I learned some glimpse of that real early because I knew, I knew how everybody were. I knew how everybody, like my grandma, for instance, um, one of her things was things that happened, and when she wanted me to deal with it, now her thing would be to my cousin them who stayed with her is to not to tell me, which was a reverse psychology thing to tell me. You know what I'm saying? Now where me and her lines really got twisted is she probably expected for me just to come and maybe have some form of a tit for tat type of approach about it. But no, that ain't my approach about it. This my grandma, and you already been warned. There ain't no tit for tat about this. So she may always end up being mad. Hey man, she may just always end up being mad about how I end up going about it. But yeah. But this whole alley is something serious like I don't think y'all get it. That was 3rd Street down there. You know what I'm saying? That was 3rd Street. We talking about Sanders Super Bowl and Rose Place and the dude sitting on the corner who done taught the pigeons how to do stuff, and everything was up and down this 3rd Street strip. So all of this, and then all of this stuff. So like I can see my stepfather Adlai fighting up and down this alley. Um, I done seen my grandma shoot at Adlai up and down this alley. so, yeah, so you know what I'm saying? And like I said, wasn't none of this here. All of this was just field. The house started from dead at this alley, which was my grandma's house, a big old whole single family house. And it wasn't nothing else but that building. But they done converted this building, but it always, the front, you would go and turn this way and go in from the front, and that always been a building. But that's all it was. It wasn't no more neighbors and stuff, but like going up that way. But yeah, this whole alley is vicious.
So in this neighborhood, when this house was there, did it still feel like a safe place to you? Like you knew you felt when you made it around that corner, made it in this area, did you feel good? You know you home. Or did it always feel like a visit, whatever that was?
No, this house, I got to say, kind of always felt like a visit. Well, at least after that, for sure. Before that, I probably never even had contemplated nothing like that. I probably haven't even chewed on nothing like that before in my young mental. But after that, I probably did. So I wouldn't say that was the house that, cause it's other stuff that happened at that house too. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's other stuff that happened at that house. Like actually, like more trauma. Like I told you, it was a single family house. Well, it really was a duplex, but she owned the whole thing, so it was just our stuff. So this side, the door closest that was here, you get upstairs. This one was downstairs. Like I done opened the door to the downstairs one and seen a lady had been shot in the head on the porch. Was beating on the door. I heard it. I heard it and everything. And I knew her too, you know what I'm saying? I knew her. She was like an auntie. And yep. She was what they would call, I don't know, a streetwalker back then or something like that. Yeah. And yep, he shot her in the eye. Yeah. And initially I thought that she was somebody else. Huh? No, yeah, that, but I initially thought that the whole incident was somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It kind of it happened fast because technically I wasn't even supposed to be opening the door. Because, like I said, we heard the commotion and heard the beating, and you would have to go from up to the back to that door. And that's what I did. I shot from up right. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't, but at the same time, I knew her and we knew her and we called her auntie. And, yep. Hmm. Probably so. If I was, yeah. I ain't really never talk. I ain't talk. Yeah. Mm-mm. Yeah, I know. But I'm talking about even. Yeah. I had I had a few people who reached out. Like I had a teacher named Miss Miramar. She was from China. Um, you know, 'cause she gave a damn, and I could tell. And and she ain't make no secret of it. And she was firm when she needed to be, but for the most part, She was all hugs and everything. You know what I'm saying? She was smart. Then a mug, I'm talking about, went to her house, learned the first time I seen a boomerang was in her backyard, her teaching me how to throw a boomerang. And I'm talking about she used to have the whole class at her house. Straight
You
up.
come from a family that showed affection.
You asking me, did I?
Did you, yeah, did you come from a family that showed affection? Hugged you every day, loved you, just built you up from
Nah.
the.
No, my whole family right now still finding her. I'm still not even,
So this teacher,
I'm still not even, you know what I'm saying,
that's why I
whole
forced
when
it
it
on you.
comes to that.
That's why I forced it on you.
Yeah, I'm not even whole when it comes to that.
But my point was, from coming from a family that does not that, and now this teacher, who's now related to me, she's my teacher, and she hugs me. What that did, that does for a kid, you still remember out of everything that you've been through, you remember who that lady was because you just said she gave it that. What that could have did for you if that was ongoing and you had that
Uh,
circle of support.
yeah, well, yeah, that's you come here. That's even the oh he come. That's even a declaration that I had never even made either. But I guess obviously everybody else would have stood out just like she did. You know what I mean?
Or you wouldn't have known it because it was the norm.
Right.
It was something you were used to. You know what I mean? And what that could have did for you as a boy when you had that was from hearing that
Well,
to learn to
we
protect
we
and whatever
we
that was.
seen what the proper nurturing does versus what the versus what not. You know what I'm saying?
Do you
So
think it could work even coming back to the same places that hurt you? Like, yeah, you go to school, you get loved on, but then you got to come back to trauma. Come back. It's like that's what bipolar is.
yeah, like tearing
Going in, jumping out. Now I'm going here. I got structure. I have to sit down. I have a class. There's breakfast. There's lunch. There's recess. Then I come home. There's no structure. We have to find a way. We don't know what we're eating tonight. We don't know if we're going to see our parents. We don't know what if we're going to see a dead body today or not. Having to stay in that constant anxiety sort of a child has no ID. But what we see at the schools is this kind one they label the problem child
yeah.
because that anxiety is always running and they don't know what to do with that. So I can't sit still. I am giving advice. I don't want to do my work. I am talking back. I am a bully, whatever you want to call it. It's because that they have to get that out. So it would make perfect sense as you grow, as you trying to interact with your child development. They trying to interact with your child development. Now the brain is damaged. Now we operating off a traumatized brain. What that looks like in the black community. What did that look like for you coming up in your youth? Now you a teenager. Now I know for sure you are forced to be reckoned within these streets.
Well, of course, it's only now in retrospect that I can tell you what it looked like because then it didn't look like nothing. It was normal. It was normal.
That
You
was
know what I'm
normal,
saying?
right?
So it was me doing what the situation calls for and what had to be, what we felt had to be done.
What does that look like now when you see that? What are we doing? Kid, boys,
Now a lot
what
of
are we
stuff
doing?
to me that like that thought patterns and stuff like it'd be hard for me to believe that damn like the whole thing of being cool with living and dying on a block. That's absurd to me now. and unless I own like the whole block up and down both sides, and then it might be alright, you know what I'm saying? But that's absurd to me. Don't nobody hold a damn house in the whole neighborhood, but all of us willing to die for the neighborhood. That's absurd to me today. But it was alright then. So, so yeah, it now it's a lot, and it comes from me telling somebody something that like I try to be a realist. That's something that I think helped me make it through everything. I try to face everything because I ain't had no other choice but to face things real in the raw. So I think it's like a wash stop. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I embrace everything. And like I just like life can be cold. And that's something that it's all right, really, I guess, because it ain't something that can be changed. I just know too that like I discovered in our things, I know that everybody go through a moment of physical, something happened with you physically. You have some type of physical illness at some point in your life. Sometimes it happened from the moment of birth. You know what I'm saying? And that's natural, and that's naturally accepted. And if I said that to anybody, it wouldn't even be no kickback about it. But let me say mental health to them. You know what I'm saying? But now I understand that today to be just as natural as physical. You know what I'm saying? So, but I also understand this, like you got to have and always I think have something in your life that's bigger than the moment, whatever the situation is. And that's what I have. That's what get me through because sometimes this world push people to the edge, and y'all see it. We all see it, and everybody don't know what to do when they get there.
Our community don't know our edge. We're gonna keep pushing it, and we have to get rescued from us. We just
Right. And that's the thing, and that's why so many break because it ain't just a magic wand of being equipped with what you got to do to handle such stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't just go to sleep and wake up in a cell every day for years and years and years straight. No, you know what I'm saying? This shit I had to, you know what I'm saying, do some mental preparation because I knew that this was inhumane. So every day it was an attack on the mental. So every day I had to find something to feed the mental with, and that's the only how you can make it with going through that. And that's the only how I think that when it's all said and done, I think I will always be able to find something that's bigger than whatever the situation is that got me on the edge. That's what I would like to think today.
so, as we close out, what would you like to say? Closing out on this trauma walk as you end this knowing that you never have to revisit this place again for you as a boy, but now you're going fighting for other little boys before that happens. What has this trauma walk contributed to your thoughts today? What are you getting from this trauma?
Well, right here on camera has been some realizations, some stuff, because I'm always thinking and I'm always trying to find a way to be a better me. So just on camera, it's been some realizations. It's been some stuff that like, oh, okay, that's what probably brought this about, or just what brought that about. But for the most part, I'm just glad to be able to be standing here. You know what I'm saying? I'm just glad to be able to be standing here reminiscing. I was here reminiscing before y'all cut the corner, and I had to envision everything because like it's all so different. But really, in my head, I can envision it all just how it was.
That's why I was in the trauma of taking you physically black and opening up them spaces that you couldn't think about at that time and coming back. So this is getting you prepared. So as I asked, are you willing to start healing your trauma?
I am, and I would like to think that I have started. Even while I was talking to you behind you, a Bell's Ambulance truck went, and I'm like, dang, Bell's Ambulance still around. But the first thing that hit my mind is playing in this grass over here and cutting my whole knee, like a whole gash that's still right there, and my uncle Jeffrey having to walk me right up through the alley, right there, right to them, and them get me right together. I did not even know Bill still existed until today.
Oh my God, right.
Right, I'm talking to you, but I see that, I'm like, it's probably caught on there, because I'm like, but yeah, that was my first thought. I'm talking about a whole real cut, like a whole gash went into my knee.
Well, we can definitely walk through this trauma walk, but what I want to get on here too. I said, well, anybody
Come on, man, we're about to fight on film.
Thank you for watching over my daddy.
Your daddy watched over me some too now. It wasn't just one-sided.
very,
He done saved me too. A
very,
time or two.
really very grateful because that story just always sat in my heart and it solidified what he always for me to looking up to you as a big brother because he always felt like he's in your shadow, but he knew why though, and he was so grateful for you, and that's the story